At 81 years old, I've realized that the greatest luxury in life isn't something you can buy. It's not a faster car, a bigger house, or a louder crowd. It's something much simpler, yet much harder to find. It's silence. For most of my life, I was afraid of the quiet. I thought silence was empty. I thought it was where loneliness lived. But today, I want to tell you why. As you get older, silence stops being a stranger and starts feeling like home. If the world feels too loud for you right now, listen closely. This is how you find your way back to yourself. Go ahead and settle in. Take a deep breath. We spend our lives running away from stillness. We fill every gap with noise, phones, news, and shallow talk. We act as if a moment of quiet is a threat. But at 81, the view is different. I've learned that the noise of the world is often just a distraction from the truth of our own souls. Let me be honest with you. I spent 60 years running from the quiet. I won't let you waste that much time. Think about your day today. How many minutes did you spend in total silence? No music, no screens, no background chatter, just you. I once believed that a busy mind was a productive mind. I thought that if I was loud, I was important. The search for constant stimulation drained my soul for decades. I was like a radio tuned to every station at once, hearing everything but understanding nothing. It was a heavy price to pay for a life that felt hollow. But here is the truth that 8 decades have taught me. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Most men don't realize this until they are forced into it by age or loss. We think silence is a void we need to fill. But in reality, silence is a container. It holds our memories, our wisdom, and our peace. The moment I stopped fighting the quiet, a deep healing began. It was like finally coming home after a very long, very loud journey. Stop for a second. Does the idea of total silence scare you, or does it sound like a relief? Tell me in the comments. I truly want to know where you are on this journey. Something I misunderstood for years was the difference between being lonely and being alone. Loneliness is a hunger. It's a feeling that something is missing. But solitude, true silence, is a feast. It's the realization that you are enough. At 81, I know that the most profound conversations I've ever had didn't involve a single word. They happened in the early morning, watching the fog lift off the grass. They happened in the late evening, staring at the embers of a fire. This fear of the void was a burden I carried far too long. If I could go back, I'd tell my younger self. The silence isn't your enemy, it's your sanctuary. The men who are comfortable in silence are the ones who have finally made peace with who they are. Letting go of the need for noise isn't an act of boredom. It's an act of arrival. It's saying, I am finally home. But let's talk about the hardest part of the quiet. When you turn off the world, your mind starts to talk. For a long time, my internal noise was louder than any crowd. I had the noise of regret. I had the noise of worry. One error I finally corrected was thinking that I could drown out my inner demons with outside distractions. I tried to outrun my thoughts by staying busy. But you can't outrun your own shadow. In the silence, those thoughts finally catch up to you. And that is exactly when the healing starts. You have to sit with your mistakes. You have to look at your past without the static of other people's opinions. My life turned around when I stopped trying to outshout my conscience and started listening to it. This transition from hiding to facing is what silence is truly for. The world is designed to keep you distracted. They want you anxious because a man at peace in the silence is a man they cannot control. A man who enjoys his own company doesn't need to buy things to feel worthy. He doesn't need to follow the crowd to feel safe. Something I won't repeat is letting the outside world dictate the volume of my inner life. I spent too many years letting the opinions of others shout over my intuition. Let's be honest. Some people in your life will be offended by your silence. They'll call you distant or cold. But the truth is, you are just finally listening to a voice that matters more. My life turned around when I stopped answering every call and started answering the call of my own spirit. This quietly cost me years of peace, trying to be available to everyone but myself. The turnaround came when I realized that my silence is a gift I only give to those who truly understand it. Have you ever felt the need to just disappear for a while? To let the world spin without you while you find your center? Your answer might give someone else the permission they need to do the same. I used to think I had to explain my silence. I felt guilty for wanting space. I thought I owed people a reason for my absence. But at 81, I know that silence is a complete answer. When I stopped explaining, I finally started experiencing. I discovered that a quiet room isn't a prison. It's a laboratory for the soul. It's where you heal the wounds that the noisy world inflicted on you. This is what I call the healing quiet. Noise is like a constant friction on the mind. It wears you down and makes you sharp and reactive. But silence is a lubricant. It smooths out the edges of your character. It allows you to see things as they really are, not as you fear them to be. This shift gave me a clarity that I never found in a boardroom or a crowded bar. I would never again spend my energy trying to win a shouting match. The man who is loud is often the man who is the most afraid. The man who is quiet is the man who knows the truth doesn't need to scream. My life changed the day I realized that my power didn't come from my voice, but from my ability to listen to others and to the stillness. This transition from seeking attention to seeking stillness is where real growth happens. I've learned the hard way that you can't heal what you refuse to hear. Silence allows the ghosts of your past to speak, so you can finally put them to rest. It's like a muddy pond. If you keep stirring it with a stick, the water stays cloudy. But if you stop and just let it be, the mud settles to the bottom. The water becomes clear. I chose clarity over chaos. Think about the internal noise of your life. Is it the noise of not enough? Is it the noise of what if? In the home of silence, those voices eventually get tired of shouting. They settle down. They become just stories instead of commands. At 81, my mind is finally a quiet place to live. It took decades to clean out the clutter, but the result is a peace that surpasses understanding. There is a specific dignity that comes with age and silence. It's the ability to sit on a porch and feel completely satisfied with just a cup of coffee and the sound of the wind. If you are starting to crave more quiet, don't fight it. Embrace it. It's not a sign of getting old in a bad way. It's a sign of getting wise. You are finally graduating from the school of noise. It's never too late to find your home in the stillness. Even at 81, I am still discovering new rooms in the house of silence. You have to protect your quiet time like it's gold, because it is. This realization finally brought me the rest I needed. I spent years being a noisemaker, but the peace of being a silence seeker was worth every moment of the wait. As I look at you now, I want you to consider the home inside your chest. Is it a loud, chaotic place, or is it a place of peace? Maybe the reason you feel so tired isn't because of what you're doing, but because of what you're listening to. I turned the world down, and I turned my soul up. Before I leave you, I have a request. If this conversation about the healing power of silence touched you, please subscribe to the channel. My mission is to share these 81 years of perspective with men who might be feeling overwhelmed by the noise today. If you found a moment of peace in these words, hit that like button. It helps this message reach another man who needs to know that it's okay to be quiet. And please share your story in the comments. When was the last time silence felt like home to you? What did you find in the quiet that you couldn't find in the noise? I read every comment. Your stories are the bridge that connects us in this loud world. You don't have to be 81 to understand that your soul needs silence to survive. You can decide today to turn off the distractions. You can forgive yourself for the years you spent running. You can start a new chapter where silence is your best friend. You have more power than you realize to create a quiet life. I've learned that a man's life isn't defined by how much he said, but by how well he listened to the silence. I spent too many years being afraid of the quiet. I hope you learned that silence isn't a lack of something, it is a presence of everything. The world will tell you that being quiet is a weakness. My 81 years tell you that it is the ultimate strength. Don't fear the stillness. It's in that space that you finally hear the truth. It's in that space that you finally find the man you were always meant to be. Take care of yourself, my friend. Protect your peace. And remember, the most important journey you will ever take is the one that leads you back to the silence. It is never too late to come home to